I'm filling my cup, I'm filling my soul, healing my heart, taking control. I've been empty, now I overflow. Welcome to SelfFull Convos. SelfFull Convos. Your healing's overdue. Fill your cup, let your spirit move. SelfFull Convos made for you.
Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of SelfFull Convos. I am your host, Coach Nye, and this is where healing, love, and laughter will flow freely. And this is the space to refill, reset, and remember the power of your cup. So settle in and allow me to pour into you. So last week we talked about my importance of becoming self-full, what it looked like for me. You learned a little bit about myself, my upbringing, just a gist of my past story. You can't give too much, child. You can't give them all the steak at once. So, you learned enough about me to understand why I live and breathe becoming self-full, why it's important to me. So, as I said in the first episode, to really start in your healing journey, it all begins with you, acknowledging you, dealing with you. So this episode is all about that acknowledgement, acknowledging those leaks, cracks, and little imperfections that we may have in our cup, but not only are we just addressing the imperfections, we're figuring out how to fix the leak, how to repair the hole, the crack. And that looks different for everybody. It feels different for everybody. But is one, knowing we need to acknowledge it first. Name it, claim it, and heal from it. Okay? Okay. So, when we talk about broken cups and what they represent, it could be many of things. It could be our emotional damage, emotional damage. It could be your childhood traumas. It could be those repetitive life cycles, those bad habits, things that just seem to keep ending us up in the same spot we fought very hard to get out of. Or things that just end up deterring us from the path that we're supposed to be on or doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. So it's really taking the time to understand what is affecting your cup, who is affecting your cup, and why it's affecting your cup. Because let's be real, everybody doesn't bother us. Everything doesn't bother us. A lot of people don't drain us, and every place that we go into don't leave us empty. But it's understanding why particular places and people have this effect on our cup. What about them? What is it that they do, or what is it about this place that is triggering to me, that is depleting me, and I may not even be fully aware of it. That's what getting to the gist of it is. That's what repairing the crack, the hole, the leak is. That's what that looked like. And at first, it's all about addressing those emotional baggages that we carry around. A lot of us go through the day-to-day of doing well at masking, pretending that we're okay, nothing gets wrong. Every time somebody asks you something, I'm fine. That is emotional damage. Like, you are doing yourself no good to fake with nobody, because in all reality, you're not just lying to those that's around you, you're ultimately lying to yourself. The more you say I'm okay, you operate in okay, and the more okay seems like a piece of normalcy, and reality is you're operating in trauma, you're operating in survival mode, you're going through the daily motions of life with no real purpose, no real passion, no real zeal. You're just doing just to do, to be okay. It could be, all of those old habits. And I tell people a lot of the time, once you acknowledge your cup, you're going to realize you're going to be doing a lot of learning. But your learning is not going to happen until you learn to unlearn a lot of things. A lot of the habits that we picked up along the way through life, whether it was through the way we were taught, by the way we were raised, or whatever it may have been, is not always good, and it doesn't do good for us. I know for me personally, I learned to deal with a lot of the things by simply acting as if it doesn't exist, and it's not healthy. It leaves people with the assumption that that is okay. It is not. You're crossing a boundary, and I have to address it. And it took some time and some learning of how to properly do that without feeling like I'm always having to check somebody, or, you know, that person doesn't fully understand the standards and the expectations I have. But it's bigger than that. Is greater than that. It's allowing that, as I said in the last episode, that little kid in you to feel protected, to feel loved on. It is knowing that, you know, that inner parts of you is okay with you, right? You're going to do everything that you can to protect that piece of you. And for me, several instances in my life is when I really became aware of what leaks and cracks I actually had in my cup. And a lot of it came from, part of me want to be like people pleasing, the other part of me want to be like the seeking of some form of love. But it's all around people. I'm a natural people pleaser. I get fulfillment out of helping people. So a lot of people, especially when they're in need, and you would love to be needed, you tend to attract a lot of that in your life. You tend to, I'm trying to say this. Not only do you attract it, but you are it. You know, because you're in all reality, you're attracting replicas of you. They just come in different forms, shapes, and fashions. But in reality, the broken attract the broken, the unhealed attract the unhealed. It just may look different than yours, and where you're unhealed at, they might have did some work, but they're still unhealed in other areas. We kind of attract who we are, just in a different reflection. And I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but it makes sense to me. Bear with me, okay? Just hold on. I promise it's gonna all make sense. So I remember when I want to say it was, I don't know how honest I want to be. I want to say it was, I got married 2023. It was maybe a few months after my marriage, and this was a very tricky time for me, because when you get married, it's like you're experiencing one of the most highest and the most joyful highs, and it's like everything is like I don't know how to explain it. It's like if you smell citrus all day. You know how you sniff citrus, or you smell it in the air, kind of like it's a pick me up. It wakes you up. It gives you that burst of life. That's what living in that marriage bliss is supposed to be like. Like every day you just wake up and like, oh my God. At least that's what it's supposed to be like in my mind. So when I got married, do not get me wrong, I was very happy. I was living in one of the most blissful and happiest times. But at the same time, I lost significantly. Like I had a friendship. I had a friendship that like crumbled after I said I do. And it was crumbling before then, but it definitely fell to shit after the I do. And it's hard when you have to grieve a person that is still alive. It is hard when that person, whether the relationship was 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you have to go on as if it is okay. For me, for a long time, and this was my best friend for many years, I'm talking 20 plus years, we did and done everything together. I'm talking about we gonna take a lot of things to the grave. I'm telling you, even if she called me now, I'm pulling up because that's just what's in me. That's my character. But I still had to grieve a person that was alive, and that is hard. And you pretend to want to be okay. You pretend to act like certain things are not bothering you. After so many years, that's your first phone call after something exciting happens, or y'all. It is a ritual of certain things, and we've created business ventures and all these things. So it was just like thinking about the shouldas, couldas, and wouldas, and what ifs, and da da da. But in reality, I was pretending to be okay so much, I started to believe I was okay. And it wasn't until a few months down the line, a few friends came to me and was like, you know what, you're not being the Nye that we know. You're not being the Nye that we know. You're not showing up. You're not pulling up. The energy is not the same. It's given very different. And I had to be, and although I wasn't fully aware, because my whole answer and my response was, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. I was operating in a state of, and a lot of us Black women do this. We operate in a state of what they say hyperdepressive disorder, meaning we function as normal, but it's in a very depressive state. You can do X, Y, Z, meet all your goals, but you're depressed. You're doing a very great job at masking. That's what happens. So after going through all of that, I really had to sit with myself and be like, you know what, sis, you're not okay. And it's okay not to be okay. And I don't no longer want to pretend to be okay because it's keeping me from healing from this friendship. It's keeping me from actually looking back and having those reflections of, wow, we had such a great time and I really enjoyed these moments, and holding on to those valuable memories. Instead, I'm just looking at it like, I wasted my time. No, and that's not the attitude I wanted to have. Even through it all, I always wanted to look back on whatever situation, friendship, situationship, and be like, man, we had a great time. I don't care about the bad. I don't care why we fell out. We had a great time. And it wasn't until I healed past it, I addressed some things, I actually was honest with myself. You know what? Just as well as I may think this person wasn't a great friend at certain situations, and this situation may have been the last straw for me, that same very person could be feeling the same way. And if I'm being honest, when you are connected to a person for so long, you tend to become comfortable with status quo and operate as normal. So I don't believe at a certain point we was good friends to each other. We just knew how to be there. But we never did an adult check-in through this friendship and be like, you know what do you need from me? What do I need from you? What are you expecting in a friendship? What do you need in a friendship? It was never none of that. And once I came to terms with that, I could look at everything she has going on and I can celebrate her from afar because I'm proud, instead of being like, she doing all this without me. Oh, I don't want that attitude about things. I actually want to look and be proud and be like, you know what, you doing it. Like, and if we are to see each other, if we run into each other, if we have those moments, that it be all love and it be genuine love and never feel fake, phony, or forced. That's the biggest thing. So for me in that moment, I had to stop pretending to be okay and actually get okay. And that came with addressing how I felt, sitting in my feelings, processing those feelings, whether it was through journaling, therapy, doing exercises of what it will be like, or how do I reshape this, or creating a new routine of what it will be like without this person, those daily check-ins, the phone calls, the pop-ups, the visits, the girls' night outs, all these things. You have to adjust those things, and you have to be able to be completely honest with you. if you're not going to be like, you know what, it's me, I did this, and this, and although this may have happened and that may have brought me here, you gotta look at you, take accountability for you, and then move on to that. Because we can't control other people, we can't control things outside of self. So you have to be willing to look at only you in your ish and fix it. It's not always easy, it's not always pretty, but it is necessary. Okay? Necessary. So, and I say that because if you fail to heal yourself and address those things, it shows in other ways. That's no lie. That's just facts. It shows in other ways. It shows in how you're able to show up in other relationships. It shows how you operate on your job. Are you that testy employee? Are you that always frustrated, always complaining person? Are you the one who nobody can rely on? You're always showing up late. You're inconsistent. Your performance is good one year. The next year review, it is trash. It shows up in other ways, okay? It shows up in even how you talk to yourself. And I believe, and this is Bible, okay? Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. I love science. Science will tell you your tongue is the strongest muscle on your body. Your tongue holds so much weight, and how you talk to yourself is crazy. That is because you still have some healing to do. You still got some growing to do, because the healed parts of you wouldn't allow you to tear yourself down. It would immediately, as soon as that thought come in your head, click it out. No, that's not it. That's not even how we move it. That's not how we get down. I believe in you. You got this. You might have thought, but you can come back. You know, not get knocked down 9 times, but we get up 10. I'm just saying, listen to some Cardi. She might do you some good. That's all I'm saying. We all fall. We all are human, but it's about how you are able to address yourself, talk to yourself, comfort yourself. And a lot of us go around without those friendships, without those relationships that know how to properly pour back into us. So if you don't even know how to talk to yourself, if you don't know how to speak love into yourself, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard, because you're going to start believing all of those negative things that you are saying about you. The hell with everybody else is saying and thinking. You're going to start believing all of what you're saying and thinking about you off of one thing that went wrong. We have to learn how to control the tongue. It has so much power. And you have to be very, 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 very mindful of what you allow, not even what your mind to think, but what leaves your lips. A wholehearted believer of that. Yep. We can't control everybody else. We can't control many of things. But if you control your tongue, I'm just saying, life will be different. Life will be different. And ask me how I know. I lived through this. I can't even tell you how many times I'm trying to pour into everybody else's cup. And baby, I barely had a cup. Okay? I might have had a handle. Cup was shattered. Child shattered. I lived a life where I've experienced the cracks, the breaks. I've experienced having to rebuild my whole cup. So I never want you to think your healing is so far gone, your trauma is too deep, or it's bigger than that. You are worth the fixing. You are worth the healing. You are worth the life that you desire to live. You just have to believe it for yourself. Because baby, when my cup shattered, it didn't break, it didn't crack. My cup shattered. But I managed to pick up all 1,000,002 pieces and put me back together. And baby, I have no complaints over the process, because the process allowed me to build me the way I desire, allowed me to shape me as I see fit, and allowed me to put as much power in that cup as I needed. So being broken may seem as though it is a hindrance. It is your stiflement or your flaw. But in reality, acknowledging your brokenness is where you find your true power, because you are allowing yourself to love on self. You are allowing yourself to tell yourself, I am worth being better. I am worth going after the things that I know I deserve. There's so much power in that. And I never want no one to not ever experience what that feeling is or what it looks like, because we're all worth it. We're all worth acknowledging those pieces of us to make us better. That's fact. So what keeps your cup leaking? That's what you need to ask yourself. That's what you need to ask yourself. And the reality of it is, a lot of us don't like to name what leaks or what drains us, because naming it make it real. I meet a lot of people, or I met a lot of people in life who be like, girl, I don't like saying that because it make it real. Or I don't like to wake up and talk about my dream, but then it might happen. What? Name that thing until you name it and you know what it is, and you can acknowledge it and you can have claim over it. It's only then you can release it and you can heal from it. But if you're refusing to acknowledge something and say, you know what, that is me, that if you're refusing to name and claim, how can you release something that you have yet to identify with? You need to identify those pieces in you so that you can release them and you can heal from them. I know when I walk into space, it leaves me feeling like this. And I know I no longer want to feel like this. And in order for me not to, you have to name. If you don't name, oh, I know when I walk in there, they're where. I know when I talk to such and such, who is such and such. Every time you have an encounter with this person, they're leaving you drained, they're leaving you empty. That's a cup leech. Just as well as a leak, it's a cup leech. Every time you come encounter one particular person, you pour and pour and pour and pour, but if you do reflection, they never pour back into you. That's a cup leech. And they're draining you. Every time you go into a place, or every time you have a run-in with your mom or your dad or your siblings, you feel like your cup is breaking. Or every time you get in a new relationship, you end in the same thing, and now you got a new crack in your cup. These are all things that needs to be addressed. All things that needs to be addressed. And until it's done so, and we acknowledge, we're going to be here every week. Here. So, I want to encourage you to try something. Okay? I believe homework helps. Homework helps, okay? As a life coach, I'll be doing you no justice if I just told you these things and I didn't give you something to help you implement it, right? Some of us are visual learners. Some of us are hands-on learners. Everybody learns different. So if you hearing me and you relate to me, cool, fine, that's great for you. But for those of us that actually have to do to see that it works, here you go. I want you to give yourself a moment. Give yourself a moment for some reflection. And sometime this week, I just want you to write down things that you need to release or repair. And in order to identify these things, I want you to think of everybody who's in your life. And when I say your immediate circle, think of your immediate circle, your work environment. Think of, everything, every aspect. What is draining you? Name it. Write it down. And even if it's not a particular situation, if it's just a person, or maybe it's just the position that you have on the job, name it, write it down. Then I want you to be able to release these things. After you identify all these things, I want you to then release them. For some people, that may be, you know what, burning the paper is a visual aspect of releasing it, or flipping the paper over and addressing how I'm going to set boundaries on this person, or what can I change or shift about my workplace. Flipping it in reverse, changing your perspective. You write one thing on one side of the paper and you're flipping it, meaning I'm changing my perspective. I'm changing how I think about this. I'm changing how I'm looking at this, how I'm going to attack this situation. That's what that other side of the paper is for. But you need to be able to identify and write those things down. Mm-hmm. Healing is not about perfection. It's about awareness and intention. That's it. Awareness and intention. You have to be self-aware to the point that you're willing to do the work. You don't want to be self-aware to the point you can say and know all these things of self, but don't know how to apply it or don't know how to change it. That's crazy. You want to be self-aware to where you know this is within my warehouse. This is the work I could do. This is what I'm going to do to change it. Or if I don't have the proper tools, I know where to go to get it done. And it's being intentional. Is waking up every day knowing it's not sunshine and rainbows. It's not always going to be sunny blue skies. It's going to be hard. You're going to have days where you're not okay. You're going to cry. The journey's not going to be easy. You're going to have to confront people in some things, but it's knowing it's all worth it and that you have to stay in the fight and that it is all going to work for your good. That I can say. It all works out for your good. Will everybody be around at the end of it? Probably not. But it all works out for your good. So I wanted to end this episode today a little bit different. I would like to end with an affirmation about acknowledging our brokenness and how it can still have power within such a vulnerable or weakened state. And the affirmation is, and I just want you to write this down. You can repeat it throughout the week, or maybe this one time is just good enough for you. I honor the cracks in my cup because they remind me I'm still becoming. I love that affirmation because until I acknowledged the cracks in my cup, I was not becoming. I was lost and drifting and just going through the motions. Acknowledge your cracks. Realize there's power in your cup and fixing your cup and repairing your cup because you're worth it. Next week, we're going to be talking about the season of isolation and when silence is actually saving you. When silence is actually healing for you. And how and what falling in love with your solitude looks like. So I invite you all again and again and again. Follow on all your listening platforms. On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the same at SelfFull Convos. Make sure you follow, you subscribe, and I love you and appreciate you. So I thank you for letting me pour into you again. And don't forget, check your cup, honor it, love yourself. And until next time, beautiful people, stay full, stay whole, and stay self-full.
Keep your cup full, let your light glow. Remember your peace as you go. Till next time, you already know. SelfFull Convos, yeah. Stay full, stay true. SelfFull Convos just for you.